Hey, you found me. Welcome to Healing Reyna. Before we go any further, I need to say this, straight from my heart to yours. I am not a doctor or a therapist. This podcast isn't here to give you professional advice or replace the incredible help a counselor can offer. What it is my hand reaching out in the dark, hoping to find yours. Its purpose is to show you that you are not alone, to encourage you to seek your own help, and to give you a glimpse of what finding your way back might look like. My way? Okay, now let's get real. This is the space where we unpack what it means to get back up, where we sit together in the mess, trace the scars, mine, maybe yours, and follow this raw, real journey of picking up the pieces. We're not here for some fairy tale ending. We're here to discover the kind of strength it takes to simply keep going, the kind you find when you have no other choice. This is Healing Reyna. Let's begin. If you want to understand me, Reyna Tovar, you need to know this first. Life doesn't play fair. It doesn't follow a neat plan. For me, it's felt less like a journey and more like a series of sucker punches. It's messy. It's unpredictable. It knocks you over when you're not looking. And me? I wasn't just knocked over once. It was like one train wreck after another, a chain of disasters that just wouldn't end. Like the universe decided to see how much one person could possibly take. But here's the part that matters. I'm still here. I'm standing, bruised, tired, but here. And that has to mean something. Can you imagine it? It's not just that I survived. It's that I had to get out of bed every single morning, even when every cell in my body screamed to stay under the covers. I wasn't heroic. I was exhausted. Just bone-deep, soul-crushing tired. You'd think after everything, a person would just surrender, right? But I didn't have the luxury of quitting. I've been knocked down more times than I can count, and yet I always found some way to get my feet back under me. It was never graceful. It was a messy, daily, ugly fight. And that tiny, stubborn spark to keep going? That's where my story really begins. Because this isn't just a sad list of my bad luck. It's bigger than that. We've all had moments where life pulled the rug out. Maybe not as dramatically, but we know the feeling. The shock, the pain, the world tilting sideways. My story is just a lens. It helps us see how we can find our way through the darkest tunnels, and how you can too. So what happened? Simply put, my life felt like a trap. The harder I fought to climb out, the deeper I sank. A brief word on today's support. This episode is brought to you by Timothy Reyna Insurance. As an independent agent now offering auto insurance in Arizona, Timothy leverages his expertise to secure tailored coverage that fits your life and budget. For a quote that saves you both money and time, call 60-2341-5290. License number 6734192. My first husband, my best friend, was taken by a sudden, senseless act of violence. Wrong place, wrong time. One day he was laughing in our kitchen. The next, he was just gone. I was left with 2 little kids and a grief so heavy I could barely breathe. A decade later, I tried again. I remarried, desperately hoping for a new start, a happy ending. But then, cancer. I had to watch my second husband fade away, piece by piece, standing by his side through every agonizing moment. The weight of it was crushing. And somehow, I didn't snap. But all that pain had to go somewhere. It went into my mind. I started a war with myself. My own thoughts became my enemy, playing a cruel, endless record. You're unlovable. You're a failure. Things will never get better. When you hear that voice long enough, you start to believe it. It started whispering that it would just be easier to stop trying altogether. But what if I could change that voice? For so long, my mind was a prison I built myself. The walls were what-ifs that always ended in disaster. The lock was my unshakable belief that my darkest thoughts were the absolute truth. I am unlovable. This pain is all I deserve. But what if the key wasn't to fight the prison, but to realize it was made of smoke? What if I could learn to see that those painful thoughts weren't facts, just fears? What if I am unlovable wasn't a life sentence, but just a terrified, lonely feeling in a convincing costume? What if I could catch that thought, hold it up, and see it for what it is? A story, not a stone-cold truth. To do that, I had to face the past I'd been running from. What if I could look at my past, a childhood with a cold mother and a distant father, and understand how it shaped me? Not to blame, but to solve the mystery of myself. Why did I flinch from kindness? Tracing it back showed me the blueprints for my heart were drawn in a storm. The loneliness wasn't my fault. It was a lesson I learned too young. And from that, a fragile hope bloomed. What if I could learn that I was worthy of love? Not because of what I did, but just because I was me. Not for being perfect, but simply because I existed. Because my heart, however battered, was still beating. What if worth wasn't earned, but remembered? This new way of seeing required new ways of surviving the daily storms. What if I could learn to handle the overwhelming tides of sadness and panic so they didn't sweep me away? I learned to float through a panic attack, not fight it. I built a toolkit, a 4-count breath, the cool shock of an ice cube, asking myself, what are 5 things I can see right now? To calm the storm, I had to stop running from the rain. What if I could finally face the awful memories I kept pushing down, so they lost their power? I learned to look at the memory and say, that happened. It was terrible, but it is not happening now. I took the monsters out of the dark closet and saw them in the light, still ugly, but smaller. My mind yearned for a ceasefire. What if I could teach my busy, worried mind to be still, to notice the steam on my coffee instead of the chorus of worries? To hear a bird sing without a soundtrack of what-ifs. It's about gently guiding myself back to the safety of right now. And this work wasn't just in my head. The hurt lived in my body, in my clenched jaw, in the permanent knot between my shoulders. What if I could help my body, clenched tight with stress for years, finally relax and let go? To take a breath that truly filled me, to feel my feet on the floor, and trust it to hold me, to unclench my fists, and feel the weight begin to slip away. These what-ifs stopped being questions. They became my map, pointing toward a place called healing. What if I could heal those old family wounds and learn to build strong, safe relationships now? What if I could learn to ask for what I needed and finally, let love in again? My story is a map for anyone who's ever felt lost, broken, or stuck. It shows that no matter how deep the hurt, healing is possible. It isn't easy. It takes work, it takes help, and it takes the bravery to face the pain head on. But it starts with a single, shaky step forward. You ever just lie there in the dark, staring at a crack in the ceiling and wonder how your life became this? That's where I am, right now. El Nuevo Sancho. He doesn't care. He never did. He says things that cut, como cuchillos, like knives. And I just lay there thinking, maybe it's the drugs talking. Maybe it's just this life we're stuck in. You start making excuses, trying to make sense of the nonsense. But deep down, yo say, I know. He doesn't care about my heart, about this pain, about nothing. He says I'm the one who's lost, always high, floating in smoke and pills. Dice que lo disrespeto. He says I disrespect him. Isn't that funny? A man like him, throwing court papers on the floor like trash, talking to me about respect. And me, ¿qué puedo decir de mí? What can I say about myself? Crackhead, fat cow, meth head. He throws the words like rocks, and they stick. They become part of my skin, like I was born wearing them. But I wasn't always this. Before I was strong, tenía coraje. I had fire. I could see the good in people. I used to call my second husband my hero, my soulmate. Funny how we call something love because we're too afraid to name what it really is. We let people walk all over our hearts and whisper, this is love. But it's not. It's miedo, fear. Fear of the empty bed. Fear of the silence. Fear of being truly seen and finding nothing there. God, why do I let them take it all? And my paz, my peace, my pride. What's left of my soul? I am so cansada, tired of fighting for a ghost. Tired of waiting for Sancho to wake up one morning and see a woman worth loving. But then the doubt creeps in. ¿Qué tal si? What if? What if he just needs more time? What if I'm giving up too soon? What if this, again, is the wrong choice? You have to understand, my first husband wasn't a monster when I met him. No one is at the start. He had a charm that made me feel seen. Como que por fin, alguien me miraba. Like finally someone was looking at me. After a childhood where I was invisible, mi mamá ni sabía cómo quererme. My mom didn't even know how to love me. My dad, too, lost in his own wars. That feeling was like water in a desert. I was desperate to matter, to have a home, algo mío, something of my own. In the beginning, it felt real. Solid. Our kids, our life. Todo parecía bien. Everything seemed good. For the first time, I thought I was living, not just surviving. No más, sobreviviendo. But nothing good stays untouched. Life wears you down in quiet ways. I watched the man I loved disappear. It started small. A bad day. A few drinks. We all have those, no? But it didn't stop. The drinking got heavier. Then came the meth. And the man who held my hand, who kissed me softly, empezó a desaparecer, began to disappear. I didn't want to see it. I'd close my eyes and think, this is not my life. But it was. His anger grew. His words got crueler. The first time he called me worthless, it was like a physical blow. But you hear a lie enough times, you start to believe it. And I did. Because deep down, ya lo crea, I already believed it. Where could I go? ¿A dónde iba a ir? Where was I gonna go? My shame was a chain. So I found my own ways to cope. Not meth, but something. Alcohol, pills, lo que fuera, whatever worked. I just needed to forget, to turn off the noise in my head. It worked, pero no por mucho tiempo, but not for long. Then came la peor noche, the worst night. He held me and the kids hostage. With a knife. I still see his eyes. Esos ojos vacíos. Those empty eyes. The kids were crying in the next room, and I was trying to be brave. But Dios mío, my God. How do you protect them when you can't even protect yourself? I thought, this is how I die. And a dark, quiet part of me thought, maybe that would be easier. But we lived. No nos mato. He didn't kill us. Something in me broke that night. Algo se quebró. Something shattered. Something that doesn't ever get put back together the same way. I'm almost 57. And I'm still here. Still trapped. Atrapada en esta vida que no tiene sentido. Trapped in this life that makes no sense. Nunca ha sido fácil. It has never been easy. Every time I try to stand, something pulls me down. I've tried to have faith, pero ya no puedo. But I can't anymore. God, no pertenezco aquí. I don't belong here. I feel forsaken. ¿Cuánto más, Señor? How much longer, Lord? How long do I have to wait for you to take me home? After that night, I was just a ghost. Going through the motions, I drowned myself in anything that would make me feel numb. Booze, pills, food. Pero nunca funcionó. But it never worked. The emptiness just grew. I should have left. Debí haberlo dejado. I know that now. But I stayed. Me quedé. Because I was more afraid of being alone than I was of the pain. And with every day I stayed, I hated myself a little more. When he died cuando lo mataron, I didn't feel relief. I felt a different kind of empty. I grieved for the life we were supposed to have, for the woman I was before him. Lloré por mí. I cried for myself. My second husband, he didn't use his fists. He used his words. And sometimes, words cut deeper. No se ve la herida. You can't see the wound. He called me lazy, ugly, useless. Cada palabra, each word, was a chip, taking a little piece of me, poquito a poquito, little by little, until there was nothing left. I'd look in the mirror and see only what he said I was. A failure. Unlovable. And I stayed. Me quedé. Because by then, I believed him. What else could explain it? 2 men. 2 destructions. It had to be me. Nunca suficiente. Never enough. I let myself become a prisoner, in a cage, built from his words and my own belief. Una jaula, invisible, an invisible cage. I was too tired to fight, too tired to hope. The exhaustion became part of my bones. Surviving isn't living. I was just there, breathing, a cycle that never ended. Un ciclo que no terminaba. I'd get up. I'd function. But inside, ya no existía. I didn't exist anymore. When he died of a heart attack, I felt nothing. Nada. No tears. No sadness. Solo vacío. Just emptiness. He hadn't hit me, but he killed me slowly, and his death didn't bring me back to life. It just left me in the hollow shell he'd made. ¿Por qué, Dios? Why, God? Why this life of pain? First the fists, then the words. ¿Qué hice yo para merecer esto? What did I do to deserve this? The silence was my only answer, so I tried to fill the silence. First with a drink, un traguito, then with something stronger. The drugs, they made the world soft and far away. Por un rato, for a little while, I could breathe. But it never lasted. The pain always came back. Heavier, más agudo, sharper. It was like running from a flood. Impossible. I was disappearing. The drugs numbed the pain, but they numbed me too. All of it. The sadness, the tiny hopes, gone. I wasn't living. I was just a thing, waiting for the next high. But even in the darkest hole there was a voice. A tiny, stubborn spark. Todavía estás aquí. You're still here. I tried to drown it out, but it wouldn't die. Then came the new Sancho. 20 years younger. 20 años menor que yo. At first, he was a fresh start. Sweet. Charming. He made me feel beautiful. Wanted. Alguien todavía podía quererme. Someone could still love me. I let myself believe it. Pero, como siempre, nunca dura. But As always, it never lasts. The sweetness turned sour. The compliments became critiques. Lose weight. Dress better. The waiting began. The late nights. The smell of drugs on his clothes. The same old lies. You're lucky to have me. No one else would want you. And I believed him. Of course I did. The script was written. Me llamaba gorda, fea, inútil. He called me fat, ugly, useless. I thought about leaving. But the fear, la maldita soledad, the damn loneliness, was a heavier chain than any pain. So I stayed, me quedé, even when he used right in front of me, even when I knew I was worth nothing to him. I stayed because I believed I was worth nothing at all. But one night, something broke. Ya no puedo más. I can't take it anymore. In the dark, I prayed. Dios mío, si me escuchas, dame fuerza. My God, if you hear me, give me strength. Give me the strength to leave this prison. And I left. I walked out. For the first time in years, I took a breath that didn't taste like despair. But now, ahora, now, the silence is so loud. I've been sober for 6 months. 6 meses sin una gota. 6 months without a drop. And some days, like today, it doesn't feel like victory. It feels like a war I'm losing. My hands shake. I can taste the whiskey. I can feel the false peace of the high. The temptation whispers, just once, just to make it quiet. I know where it leads. I know the crash is worse. But God, I just want the pain to stop. I'm desperate. Lost. Desesperada. Perdida. The paperback version of Healing Reyna is now available on Amazon. And if this article resonates within you, then let that recognition be recorded by hitting the like button. Furthermore, if you deem this podcast arguments amplified for the common good, then you are requested to subscribe. I'm so tired of being strong. I'm tired of the weight on my chest. I don't know who to talk to. Nobody understands that on the inside, I'm still that broken girl, screaming. I want to stay clean, but the craving is a living thing inside me. I hate that I still want the poison that ruined me. Si estás ahí, ayúdame. If you're out there, help me. I don't want to fall. But I'm on the edge, temblando, shaking, and I'm so scared that if I fall this time, I won't get back up. This is my truth. This is the fight.